All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's market color session for the 10th of October 2024. My name is Abigail, and I'm going to be taking the first part of today's market color session. Afterwards, my colleague Demola Global is going to take the second half of today's market color session. I'm going to be doing analysis on commodity currency pairs, which include AUD-USD, NZD-USD, and USD CAD. And then Demola is going to do his analysis on US30, NAS 100, and whatever pair he's looking at today. Okay, hi Adi, good morning. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can also see my chat before we proceed. Hi Rita, good morning. I don't know if Adi is a female or a male. I have a friend, Adi, and it's a female. So is this particular Adi a female or a male? So I know how to properly address you. All right, it's good to have you here. Okay, so let's see what this chart has in store for us today. Let us see, right? Today is CPI. Yesterday was FOMC, but it didn't really do much. FOMC meeting minutes. It didn't do much in the market. I was actively looking at my chart, trying to see how much further GPUSD was going to tank because I've been selling GU since on Monday, but it didn't really do much in the market, right? But we have CPI coming out today, so we're going to be watching to see what impact CPI has. Is it going to continue pushing certain price certain asset classes in certain directions, or is it going to reverse them? Anywho, this analysis is going to give us some sort of insight, right, into the next moves for these commodity currency pairs, and of course the other dollar related pairs as well, like GU, and then we'll take it from there. So starting off with USD CAD today, H4 time frame, what do we see? Before I proceed, I'd like to say that in as much as you watch us do this analysis every day, you should be taking note of the systematic approach that we take in the market. This would help you also fine-tune your own trading if you don't already have a strategy that is working for you and you're looking for something, a method, a process that could guide you. You're in the right place. Just have your pen and paper while we do market colors and see how we tell the story of the market. That would certainly, for sure, help your own trading as well. So USD CAD H4, what do I see? We're clearly bullish. Price has broken above the downtrend, or rather the pullback and the trend. So we're clearly bullish on the H4 time frame with sunshine printed, which is basically signifying that we're going to be seeing pullbacks in the nearest future, right? Pullbacks into what level, you might ask? On the H1 time frame now, I'm just going to mark out levels that I see USD CAD sell it into before the H4 trend continues, right? So I have them marked out. Give me a second to delete these other two lines so we don't get confused about which one we're actually looking at right now. Okay, so point of interest 1 and point of interest 2, we're expecting USD CAD to retrace back into these levels. So for the price action traders who do not have access to these indicators, just take note of these numbers. The first one being 1.36253 and the second one being 1.35445, right? So on the M5 time frame, now what am I going to be doing on this particular time frame? I'm going to be marking out even more specific point of interest that I see price retracing into, right? Okay, so as usual, like I always do, I'm going to be marking out my point of interest one, which is now yesterday's high right here, and then mark out the second point of interest, which now happens to be yesterday's low, right? Which is all the way down here. Okay, so we've marked that out. The other level we're now marking out is now day before yesterday's high. And day before yesterday's low. Okay, so usually when I do all of these markings, all I do is just to sit and wait for price to get to those particular price points. And then when they get into those levels, I now start to look for specific things. Now, for this particular one, I'm looking for reversals of USD card, right? To retrace back into certain levels if I continue buying. So I'm saying on the M5 time frame, particularly in this session, if USD card retraces back into this point of interest, I might look for entries provided all my entry criteria are met, right? But if it isn't and it breaks below this level, it's coming here. If it breaks below this level, where is it coming to next? This higher time frame point of interest. So we have different POIs that we're looking at. When price taps into those points of interest, we now fine tune to the M1 time frame to look for even more specific details that we want to see before we start buying. But we've not seen that now. So we're just going to take note of these levels on USD card and wait for price to get into those levels. Please take note of them as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sure you've taken note of the H1 time frame as well. Okay, so as a recap on USD card, currently bullish on the H4 time frame, expecting temporary reversals in this session. And where are we going to be seeing those sales in two points of interest, one on H1 and the point of interest 2. And then we gave even more specific levels on the M5 time frame. Okay, so you could, if you want to risk it, you could take the reversal or USD card back down into these levels. But I'm going to advise you just follow the trend following trades and wait for price to get into the levels we marked, and then we'll continue with the overall bias. So AUD/USD for now, what do we see? Price broke below all of this. It broke below our Donchan momentum. It is now inside our pullback. Sunshine has also been printed, right? Okay, we'll just delete this Fibonacci. So Sunshine has also been printed. What do I see on AUD/USD? I see something like this happening short term, right? So I'm expecting a short buy into the zone before AUD/USD now continue selling. Maybe that final lap is what will now take price into the trend or even break below it, right? So, however, on H4 time frame, what we see right now is a sell because price has traded into this level. However, our trend is still pointing upward. So until price trades into this level, you could say this is even a clear bullish trade, right? Because what we have here is we have high, higher low, higher low, higher low. We've not seen another one that was lower than this low. So H1 time frame, what do we see? Now the sell on H1 is clearer because it has now violated all of the different indicators that we have on our chart and it is heading downward, right? So I still expect price to trade in here. Now on the H1, I have 2 points of interest majorly that I'm looking at. AUD/USD buying into before it continues the overall sell. This is the first one, 0.67750 and 68393, right? Now that I have these levels, I'm going to repeat the exact same thing I did on USD card. I'm going to do on AUD/USD. And what are those things? Yesterday's high, yesterday's low, day before yesterday's high, and day before yesterday's low. You see that our last analysis on Tuesday, you still have those levels marked out on the chart, right? So I'm just going to borrow these levels that I marked out here, the rectangular shapes, and I'm going to drag them into our present data. Okay, so we have this one now. Yesterday's high marked, yesterday's low also marked. You see that the M5 time frame is already giving form for the buy to start. Momentum has bent to the upside, right? Traded into our trend, and of course, as expected, we saw the reaction downward. So right now, are we looking at AUD/USD continuing to just continue buying from here? Because as you can see, price retraced into this specific level, which was day before yesterday's low, very precise, and then shot up before you found this and shut down. So are we going to see a movement that takes price into this zone, which is yesterday's high, or is even going to violate yesterday's high and trade all the way into day before yesterday's high, right? So for AUD/USD, I'm expecting something like this, just like I stated on the H4. I'm expecting a buy move into the zone. If it breaks above, it's coming here. It breaks above, it is coming all the way here. And then we just might see a final move downward that now eventually gives us a clearer picture of the downtrend on H4 time frame precisely, because on H1, we already see the downward movement very clearly. Please let me know if you're following so far. Just leave an emoji in the chat box. Let me know that I'm not just talking to myself and this is actually helping somebody. While I bring out NZUSD, I'm going to expect that some of us at least are typing in the chat box. All right, thank you. I see you. Okay, H4 time frame. Now, what do we see? So you see that price is about to even violate the trend that we have here. It's about to violate this. So it has broken, Donchan break of structure to the downside. indicators, the other indicators, the Keltners, meaning the momentum, the pullback, and the trend, are also about to be broken down. Sunshine has been printed. So what are we seeing NZD doing short term? Either you trade into this level or you trade into this level, right? But let's go on the H1 time frame to mark out specific levels that we're looking at, H1. So what am I marking out here? This is my point of interest. One, for NZD to buy into before we continue the downward movement. And this is another point of interest as well. So price could do this, drop, do this, drop, do this, drop. Now, for price action traders, you'd see that there's diagonal liquidity right at this level. There's a fair value gap, right? Our price could trade into. There is some sort of support that could become future resistance right at this level, 0.62089. But we're not using price action in this session. We're using indicators. So let me not deviate, right? Let's stick to what we have working for us. Okay, so price trade in here, find resistance, drop, or it's going to trade in here, find resistance, drop, or into this level, right? So the same thing I did, coming to M5 to mark out some levels. Trading can be very systematic, I promise you. Would always say on the floor, even our boss would always say, somebody should be able to look at your trading plan or your trading strategy and be able to trade what you trade, even without knowing the strategy. It should be that systematic, right? So just give me a second while NZUSD M5 loads up. The indicators tend to lag a bit sometimes. So we're waiting for it to load up. However, I might not even be doing much of any trading this session since CPI is going to be coming out by 1:30 p.m. I'm just going to be waiting, right? One day, one session not trading is not really going to do much to me. There's always going to be more opportunities to take trades. So let me use the horizontal line this time to make it a tad bit faster. So yesterday's low marked out. Yesterday's high also marked out, right? Zoom out a bit to get a bigger picture. Going to mark out day before yesterday's low and day before yesterday's high. So all of these horizontal lines you see on your chart are now our specific point of interest for this session. 61444. You can just take note of them. 61398, 61241, 61072, and the final one, which is 60526. So you see that price already traded into this zone. Okay, not really. This was yesterday. So price hasn't really done much here, but what I'm expecting is a bullish move. Momentum has also printed to the upside. It's curved to the upside. So we're going to see NZD continue buying to this point. And then if it gets here and is unable to find proper resistance, and by that I mean we don't see specific structure on the M1 time frame, then we expect that price is going to violate all of these levels and maybe find resistance at this point. And that's pretty much it for what I'm looking out for on NZUSD, AUD and USD card this morning. Okay, so very shortly, Demola Global is going to be coming on board to cover the other part of this session. I believe this was clear. I had asked for a few questions and I saw your comment. Everybody, well, most of you understood. So I see Adi, fire emoji, Daniel on point. All right then. So thank you so much for sticking with me till the end of my part. Demola is going to do his own indices. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly. And then of course, we're going to cover the other part by 3 p.m. right, for the New York Market Color session. And before I hand over to my colleague, remember that we have the FS Bootcamp training coming up in Abuja in November, right? So you should be a part of it if you've not taken our training yet. We always cover different curriculums during those sessions, and you get to learn how different people see the market in different ways, and that would definitely help you, systemize your own training strategy and pick what works for you. We'll also be discussing risk management, psychology, and all of that good stuff that would definitely, with all certainty, help your trading journey. All right, so please tell a friend about it. We'll drop the flyer in the Market Color group chat. Feel free to spread it to more people, as many people as possible. Okay, so thank you once more. Demola will be coming on shortly. Don't go anywhere. Cheers and God bless.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Market Color brought to you by the Value Flow Trading Team and powered by our preferred broker, Opta. That is uh, good, a great analysis from Abigail. So we'll be moving quickly into the analysis of the next session of the analysis, which is going to be on the DSY. We're going to look at the precious metal. We're also going to look at the other dollar currency here, and at the same time, we'll be taking a quick flight, if time permits, to Japan just to see what is going on the yen basket. If you can hear me loud and clear, just type in the chat box. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Just type in the chat box so I can know we are together. You can see my screen and you can hear me loud and clear. You can easily type on the chat box so we can quickly move together. If you can hear me, let me know, please. All right, let's start with the DSY. Now, if you look at the DSY, I believe you can see my chart. If you look at DSY on the daily time frame, let's even start with it from the weekly time frame. So if you look at the DSY from the weekly time frame, we are going to observe what exactly has been going on that particular pair. All right, thank you. So we are going to be looking on what has been going on DSY right from the weekly time frame. Now, I want us to also have it in mind that the US election coming soon, we are going to see a lot of, some kind of moves in the market, while at the same time, we definitely would be very, very cautious in how we trade. So if you look at the weekly time frame, we are going to see where we mark this other block below here. And like we always say that you must be a student of history too. You may just try and go back to see, okay, what happens in past, US election period, which used to be, first Tuesday of November of that particular year. You are going to do that of last year, that of the last election, that will be November 2020. Yeah, because it's 2024. So first Tuesday in November 2020, that should be sometime around November 3rd, 2020. So you may try and backtest so that you see price action within that period. So if you look at the chart right now, we are going to see that on the weekly time frame, we have this other block marked out, while at the same time, we are still expecting some few more strength in the dollar before it sold off again. And why do we say that? We've seen how that price has actually cleared liquidity below here, and now we've seen the full momentum from last week that gave us a weekly order block, and we expect more momentum to the upside again. However, we see that below here is a particular reference point that is likely to call price to the downside. But if you look at it right from the daily time frame, you are going to observe what exactly is going on the daily time frame. That is the overall move from the weekly time frame. But if you come back to the daily time frame, remember we marked this place some time ago that we expect price to rally all the way into this daily order block. And that is where price is currently. So today may be a sell day for the dollar, and knowing fully well that we have CPI coming out by 1:30 this afternoon. So you may want to be patient a bit, or if you see your structure already pre-CPI, that may give you a quick, move to do whatever you want to do before CPI. And from experience, we've learned that CPI can be very, very funny, where you begin to see some level of whipsaw in the market, and that may give you some little brave level of concern. All right, so we've seen the daily order block here, how that price already tapped into it. So we expect some level of price reaction around this particular level before price now picks its new direction. It is going to pull back or is going to continue all the way to the upside. However, we expect the price reaction inside this zone that we mark out here to the downside with little of a bit. All right, so if you look at it on the 4-hour time frame too, you are going to observe the DSY on 4-hour time frame. We see how that it just came right now and tap into the fair value gap and also a 4-hour order block. I believe we all can see that particular candle here. You can see it here. It's a 4-hour order block. So you can see how that price has consumed that level and price has really tapped into it. So at the same time, I am of the opinion that there's high tendency to see price clear liquidity at this top here, somewhere around this place. You can see this liquidity here. So there's high tendency to see price, rally to clear liquidity at that top. And if that would happen, then that means that price still has room to pull a little bit to the upside before doing its move to the downside. After this range that we saw from days ago, now we've seen the breakout and we are seeing price trying to form another range. But that doesn't mean it really doesn't matter. We can still see the last leg of PSY to the upside before coming to the downside. All right. So if you look at it on the 1-hour time frame, you are going to observe after the breakout, as we see on 4 hours now, you can see right now on 1 hour also, you can see how that price has actually do is push all the way to the upside. So if this is happening on BSY, what are we expecting to see on other dollar correlated pairs? So that is what we'll be looking at quickly right now. Let's start with Euro USD. Now, if you look at Euro USD right from the daily time frame, let's go to the daily time frame. You are going to observe that great. You see what is happening on the daily time frame. It's been a long sell move for the Euro USD all the way to the downside. However, price is just a little bit more to get to this daily order block of the Euro USD. So if you mark out that particular price action there, that will give you some level of clarity. If you look at it somewhere here, somewhere inside here. But at the same time, you can see that price tapped into this fair value gap, and why we have a kind of failed shoulder somewhere here. So this is giving us a concern that we may see price of Euro USD, bounce back to the upside again. So that is one thing you should look out from the daily time frame. And if you check it on the 4-hour time frame, one thing you are going to observe on 4-hour time frame is price has been selling all the way to the downside. Now, where exactly are we heading to on 4-hour time frame? You still see liquidity below here, how that price can still come and clear liquidity below here. But we can see what really is reacting to price here. You can see that is the 4-hour order block that we have here. That's where we are having the price reaction there. And if we finally see a market structure shift around this level right now, then that means price is going to rally a bit all the way to the upside. So we should look out for that. And if it's going to rally to the upside, where should we see it get to? Then that means there's high tendency it comes all the way, clear liquidity around this level and get to this flip zone as we have here. So this is the flip zone. Now, above the flip zone, we have the liquidity residing here. So you can see price. If by any means we see the market structure shift around this region, then we expect price to come all the way into this flip zone and start its move again. It is going to go down or it is going to break out. So if price breaks out of this flip zone, then that means if it breaks out here, we should expect it to come back a bit, turn it to be a support after being a resistance, then keep moving all the way up if that is going to be the move. But that is also dependent on what is going to happen on the DSY. All right. So if you look at it on the 1-hour time frame, you are going to observe that it's been a very long sell day. And this has been very, very quiet on Euro USD. But if you look at the other dollar correlated pairs, you have like GBP you are going to see that it's been a very ranging day for it. So we'll soon go there. But if you look at it right now, the Euro USD on 1-hour time frame, you can see that price has just been sitting inside of that place. So a lot of people eyes on CPI to see what exactly becomes of the CPI. And we are going to observe also, let's see the lower time frame if there's any market structure shift yet for us to see if we can long because of that POI that we see there. Now, right now, there's nothing really much yet. There's nothing really much yet until price clears this particular Asian high. If price clears Asian high and it comes back again, then that gives us a first strategy within this zone, which means this is what we may end up seeing today. Meaning if price comes all the way here as it's moving right now. If it comes here and clear this high that we have here, clear this Asian high that we have here, if price clear this and it pull back again, then this is going to be the shoulder, and inside the shoulder right there we have the 15-minute order block for us to follow it all the way up again. And where are we heading to when price keeps moving all the way up? Meaning we are going to that flip zone that we could see right on the 4-hour time frame. So that is going to be, yes, we are coming all the way to this flip zone if what we have on this 15-minute time frame plays out as anticipated. You get point now. So this is our shoulder within the sweep. So what we're expecting now is the possible break for price to clear this Asian high, then a pull back into this other block and also this flip zone, shoulder, this left shoulder. So if price does that, then we can easily follow through. But there are people who may not want to wait, or they want to see is, oh, I've seen these, they go to the lower time frame, maybe like 5 minutes, or even some may even want to do 1 minute of the thing. So if they see it there, they can easily follow through. But if you are using the value flow models, then you should have seen some level of market, you should have seen some level of correlation if you have the value flow model that should give you a pre-information of what you should do on Euro USD. I'm not going to dish out that this morning. If you want to get that, you can easily reach out to us to get the value flow models, which is going to give you the pre-information of what you should look out for on the Euro USD move this morning. Now, a quick one to GBP USD. Oh, if you look at GBP USD, let's start from the daily time frame of GBP USD. You are going to observe. Let's look at something on the weekly time frame of GU. Now, if you look at weekly time frame of GBP USD, we have a level inside here, which is the fair value gap and also an order block, of which 3 weeks ago we see price approaching that place, but it did not really enter into it. And that is also a level of concern, meaning they are still expecting price to come and tap into that place proper. So that is for the weekly time frame. And now on the daily time frame, what you are seeing on the daily time frame is just more like a pullback because we've not seen price take out this particular low. Now, if price is going to come in, we see what price really did here, meaning we see after the breakout, price came back, turned this to be a flip zone and begin to rally up again. Could that be the new, also the same thing price wants to do here again before it comes and enter into that POI so far? All right, so let's check on the 4-hour time frame. What has really happened on 4-hour time frame? Now, on 4-hour time frame, we've seen how that price came yesterday, and this is a very clean and clever strategy that we've marked a long time ago, but it's been so frustrating for for some days now, how that price came back into that shoulder and sat down there long while and didn't move at all. And that is what we are seeing. We just saw price seated inside that shoulder, which is a very big concern to everyone. So all we are expecting is, let's wait and see when we have a market structure shift, or if we see a base pattern, you can easily follow through that also to the upside. Now, to someone who don't understand what the base pattern is, you can enroll for our FS bootcamp so that you get that. That's a very powerful strategy that Cynthia trades very, very well. So this is the shoulder pattern. You can see it here, how that price comes back and is sitting right inside of it on the 4-hour time frame, of which we expect price to react from this level to the upside. And this is where we are still expecting price to come directly into before we see the move to the downside proper. That's for the 4-hour time frame. So if you look at the 1-hour time frame, what exactly are we seeing on the 1-hour time frame? Now, does this look like what we just saw on the Euro USD 1-hour chart? Now, if you look at it, compare it to the Euro USD 1-hour chart, you are going to understand clearly what the value flow models really is and how they really work. Very, very powerful. You can see what the pattern we are seeing on the GBP USD compared to that of the Euro USD. And we've seen what price action did this morning right on the GBP USD. We've seen what price action did right now on the GBP which is also giving us a pre-information of what we should look out for on the Euro USD. By the way, that is for if you have the value flow model that's going to give you more clarity of what to do on that pair. So right now, all we are looking for is let's check if we have a market structure shift for the GBP USD. Now for GBP USD, all we are seeing, we see price itching to the upside, but not with full momentum. Not with full momentum. So we should look out for proper entry strategy if you use the base pattern, if you use the shoulder pattern. Now, if you use the shoulder pattern, you already see that price already gets there and is already pushing to the upside, but it's not with full momentum. But if you use the base pattern, you should look out for your entry right now. So I won't tell you the entry for the base pattern. All you need to do is just enroll for the FS bootcamp and you're going to get the best of it. So that is for the GBP USD. Now let's take a quick move to the precious metal. What has been happening on the precious metal? As we've known that for the past few days now, long time we've been on a bullish move for the precious metal and it's all the way to the upside. All right. So if you look at the daily time frame now, we've been anticipating this move for a very long time, how that price should come and trade into the low that we have here as we have it marked out here. But we are still going to see it much more clearly where price is heading to on the 4-hour time frame. Now on the 4-hour time frame, we've been expecting price to come to a shoulder inside of this place, which was violated, and we see our price violate the place and we see what is happening there. So now that the shoulder has been violated, what should we look out for? If a shoulder is being violated for the first strategy, if it's being violated, then it's telling us another story entirely. So you may want to look out for what are we anticipating to see somewhere here. But the overall move for the precious metal still remains that we have another shoulder seated inside of this place here, while we also have another block seated inside of it. So that's the confluence we may be looking out for to see and to trade for the precious metal on the 4-hour time frame. So if you look at it also on the 1-hour time frame, you are going to observe that price has just been, moving all the way to the downside. It was day for yesterday on Monday that we see, I think on Tuesday rather, that we see this sharp move all the way to the downside, and it's a very powerful one to the downside. So where exactly are we still heading to as price is itching to the downside? We've shown us where we are heading to on the 4-hour time frame. But the now trade of the precious metal, what should we be doing now? I think that is what we should look out for on the 15-minute time frame if we have any clean and clear move on 15-minute time frame. Now on 15-minute time frame, inside here we have is looking more like a a sweep of this low, but it's not with much more clarity. So you may want to wait until price clear liquidity. And for precious metal, when it builds double bottom this way, we know what price it simply is trying to do. Meaning we can still see price come all the way, clear this low, then now brings a clean, clear cut to the upside. All right. So that is for the precious metal. You may want to look out to see what is happening on that side too. Now, a quick one to see what do we have in Japan, going on in Japan. Now, from the daily time frame of the yen basket, we've observed that our price has just been ranging after the breakout that we have sometimes in the month of August. We've seen that price has been ranging all the way. And like we've been anticipating that price should come down and get to this flip zone before it starts, pushing to the upside. But we are not seeing any move like that. It's just been being very sluggish. Now, moving forward, what exactly do we expect to see on the yen basket? What we should try and watch out for is price should come and trade into this split zone. When it gets to this split zone, then we can now wait to see where exactly are we heading to. But remember that under the split zone, we have the daily order block too, which means if price gets to the flip zone here, there's still tendency for this order block to call price down. So when it gets to that daily time frame, then it gives us a clear cut of where and what we should look out for and what we should do, of which price should push all the way to the upside. So that is for the yen basket. And if we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, we are going to see that clearly on 4-hour time frame again, how that price is still building much more structure to the downside. We've not seen any market structure shift on 4-hour time frame to continue the trend. Meaning we are still expecting price to get to our daily POI before we move. Now, if that is it on the yen basket, that means the yen correlated pairs like GBP, JPY, we should have some clear levels on them. Now, if you look at GBP/JPY right from the daily time frame, we are going to observe that price has not really gotten to our POI, of which we are still expecting it to do, meaning the buy of GBP/JPY to that top. And this should also give us some level of confirmation of what we should be expecting on GU. Now, remember the pattern we are expecting on GU, and at the same time, we are seeing that GBP/JPY should also push all the way to the upside here. So if that is happening, then it's telling us a particular asset, GU, GJ, then a particular asset should be, we expect that particular asset to range for a long time, for a while. Now, this is the exact move that we're expecting for GBP/JPY, meaning we expect price to rally a bit into the daily order block before we see the continuation of the sell. And that should also give us a pre-information of what has happened before. So we are here. So if you look at it, now we have it that the 60% fib level is sitting just right exactly inside that daily order block, which means we are still expecting price to come all the way to get to this place for GJ, then we can easily begin to sell. But that doesn't mean if you say your sell structure on lower time frame, you may not want to take your trade. Remember, this is the daily time frame. If you see your sell structure on time frames like 15 minutes, like 5 minutes, like 1 hour, 30 minutes, you can easily quickly take this cap. But knowing fully well that the overall move that we are still expecting is for price to come all the way to this particular level before we begin to sell. And as we always say, that the lower time frame makes up the higher time frame. However, the higher time frame controls the lower time frame. So that is what we are expecting for GJ. And if you look at it on the 4-hour time frame too, it becomes much more clearer on the 4-hour time frame that particular level of 4-hour time frame, we have IFPD seated inside there at the top. So this is it. You can see it here inside that level. So we expect price to come down. And at the same time, we are seeing something more of a shoulder pattern there, meaning expect price to come, clear liquidity at this particular top here. And this is also a shoulder that we are seeing here. We've seen the sweep of that level and we've seen the positive break. So we expect price to come all the way into this shoulder and begin to, sell to the downside. So that is for that. And if you look at it on the 1-hour time frame too, the same thing is what we are still expecting. Price is still very much to the upside. And as it's going to the upside, as price is moving to the upside, you see how it's building diagonal liquidity along the way to the upside. You can see the trend line as it's going. So if you zoom in and you keep drawing your trend line, you're going to see that price is really respecting that move all the way. Get here, bounce up, get here, bounce up, again, moving. So we are expecting that, yes, we may see price does do something a little bit to the downside and push up again. So that is another thing you should observe for the GBP/JPY. All right, so that is it. And the now trend for GBP/JPY now, we are looking at, okay, what should we do right now for GBP/JPY? I would say that you may want to wait a bit, even though we already see some level of, market structure, some level of sweep somewhere below here, that price may pull back all the way into somewhere here. So you may see price pull back into somewhere here after we've seen the clear of sweep of liquidity below here, and we've seen how price broke out. So you may see price come all the way into somewhere here. But because of the trend that price is maintaining, all you may see, it may be a news that will just see that whip of and you are going to see it move back to the upside. But make sure you trade it cautiously because right now, all we are still expecting is much push of BTGY to the upside. All right. So lastly, if you look at, let's take a look at AUDJPY as we end up for this morning session. Now, for AUDJPY, you think all the way is also doing the same move, almost the same move for AUDJPY. If you look at it, almost the same move. And that one is given a confirmation of what may still happen for GBP because price already traded into the AUD daily order block, as you can see somewhere here. So, but we may still see a few more push to this place, or we see it range while GBP deliver its own move to that upside, and this AUD will just keep ranging, moving up and down inside of this particular zone between the 101 spot, between 102 level, between 102, yes, and this particular level here. You may see it just ranging for a while on AUDJPY. And if you look at it, even on the 4-hour time frame too, as all it's been doing has been, that move to the upside. And I am still expecting AUDJPY to come into this shoulder that we draw out here. You can see it inside of this plate. So this is a POI for me to short AUDJPY if price comes inside this zone. All I'm going to do is refine into your lower time frame, this on the 4-hour time frame. If you go to 1-hour time frame for AUDJPY, you are going to see it. This is it here, meaning we are expecting price to still come all the way into this level here. Then we can follow it to the downside. So this is the shoulder for AUDJPY on the 1-hour time frame, and this is going to be the short zone where you can easily short it, and your SL will be somewhere above this level here. All right. So that is going to be a very clear move for AUDJPY. And even if you look at it on the 15-minute time frame too, you are going to see it becomes much more clearer on the 15-minute time frame. Meaning what we want to see on the 15-minute time frame of AUDJPY is price should come, clear liquidity at this top here, then tap into this shoulder that we have outside here. And at the same time, you can see that there's a very tiny fair value gap and a IFPD inside of this place. If you zoom out and you look at it very well, so that is it. So you can see the fair value gap inside of this place, and also to the left, to the right, which also have a correlation with this shoulder. So this is going to be a short zone for AUDJPY with our SL somewhere here. So the SL may not even be up to 10 feet. So that is a trade you may want to take all the way. All right. So that is going to be the end of the market call brought to you by the Value Trading Team and powered by our preferred broker, Octa. Make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. If any question, you can easily type in the chat box as we quickly address it as fast as possible. And at the same time, remember, okay, yeah, I have a question here. Baba Aliu says, supposing you are using both strategy and happens that you open your chart and you see double bottom or double top, can you go ahead and trade irrespective of your pattern of your both strategy? All right, Baba Aliu, thank you very much. Something like this, I think we have a chart pattern that is doing that has something like that right now, which is gold, the precious metal. Now, if you see your both strategy and you are seeing price, price already something like this, like we have here, we can see like we have here. Now, you may want to know that price, what we have price do here. Now, if you look at this very well, we are going to observe that this particular week swept this particular low, something like that. However, we've seen that price already pushed all the way. If price clears this high now, it's going to give us something like a bot strategy. But the reason why this won't be a very confident trade is because we see that price built double bottom below here. So liquidity is resting a lot inside here. So if you have something like that, your boss strategy, and you are seeing double bottom below of that boss strategy, is much more advisable you leave that particular trade, allow you to print out in a very clear manner, in a very, very clear manner. Like something like this, what we have price did here. Check this out. Great. What we have price did here, if you go to your 5-minute time frame to check, it was yesterday. Yes, this is it. This is it. What we have here, you can see this is a bot pattern, how that price already swept this low, break to the upside, and came back into that level. Now, you will have entered here. Yes, a very clean entry, and your SF is below this week here. So meaning price came back again, tapped into that level, and now begin to move sluggishly into the Asian session this morning before we see the clear move to the upside. So if we begin to see how that price creates double bottom within our board strategy, it is much more advisable that you may want to leave that particular one and look for a very clear one where you did not have double bottom formed for that particular pattern. Babaliu, I believe I've been able to answer your question. Please let me know if it's clear that way. Just type in the chat box so we know. All right. So like Abigail said earlier on, that the FS Bootcamp, FSB training, for Abuja is very, very important to register for it, because that is going to be a very, very interesting class, because it is a physical class where we'll be teaching all this pattern, all this strategy clean and clear in the city of Abuja. So it's going to be a very great time. So register for that. We'll meet again by 3 p.m. For the New York session market recap. Make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. I'm Lee for sharing. Cheers and God bless.